When you got a skip in it, every time you played that record, it skipped, right? So this is what happens when we get trauma within our chakras, right? Every time it goes around, it has a skip. So that will keep coming up for you time after time after time, right?
Good morning and welcome back, everyone, on this beautiful day. We are with Omgurl Casey today. She has so much to bring to us. I'm so excited for you to meet her, a medium, psychic, and coach. Before we get started, what is in your coffee cup this morning?
Well, this morning I have black coffee with some oat creamer in it. It's really delicious.
I am obsessed with oat milk right now. That's like my total alternative. I kind of go in these waves of different alternative milks, and oat is the thing right now. I love it.
The creamy,
So
extra
good.
creamy. Got to be extra creamy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So before we dive into your work, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. So I'm an internationally trained and renowned medium and psychic. I'm experienced in curating safe spaces for healing and for the work to happen. When we say mediumship, being the medium or the middle between this realm, this third dimension that we're in, and then the beyond. So whatever your belief system is, heaven, we have these different dimensions where we can exist, is my belief. And so, we may have angels or guides that have never even existed within the plane, with us, along with our loved ones who have passed, that help us and guide us, through the world. And I don't think that we ask for help enough from our loved ones on the other side. Just because they're gone from us in physical body doesn't mean that, they're gone from us energetically or they aren't there to help us. So I'm really thankful to have the gift to be able to connect, people with their loved ones to bring peace and sometimes get those unanswered questions answered. I also teach women how to be empowered and healthy, and this is my passion, helping to coach them through those things. I have studied now for about 30 years. I am internationally trained through mediums in England. So England, very acceptable mediumship. Here in, the States, not as acceptable. There they have generations of mediums. They have formal training. So I have trained with mediums not only when they have come to California, but also traveled to England to train there. So I can say I'm properly trained.
Nice.
In a nutshell, I've worked with, top mediums and psychics in their field internationally, which has been really cool. And it really broadened my horizons in trusting myself, because that's a big deal as, human beings and women, especially, we aren't taught to trust ourselves. And that soft little voice of intuition that we all need to be tuning into.
Absolutely. So today you're going to share with us, I'm excited that you're talking about this topic, is chakras and trauma.
Yes. So chakras and trauma, go hand in hand. And if we think about what a chakra is, and some of your viewers may not understand what that is. So chakra is a Sanskrit word, and it means spinning wheel or disc. So we have 114 of them, but we usually concentrate on the main 7, which go down the central channel, if you think about the center of your body. And so these wheels are spinning all the time, and they're taking in energy. And if you think about them as they're kind of like a funnel, they're big in the front and then they get skinnier at the back. They're turning and they're bringing in information, right? So the bottom 3, which is the root, the sacral, I'll be talking about the sacral a little bit today, which is the Sanskrit word for that is Svadhisthana. And then the solar plexus, which is right in your tummy. Those bottom 3 are really your basic needs being met type of chakras. As we get to the heart, it kind of turns around and then goes up into the throat, the third eye, and the crown, which were much more spiritual, right? So we're bringing the spiritual aspect of selves in with those basic needs. But along with that, those bottom 3 chakras is usually where we have the majority of trauma that's formed within like ages 4 to 7. So when we think about trauma, and this trauma will affect everything in your life, how you do everything, whether negatively or positively. And when we think about trauma, it doesn't specifically have to be, something major. It can be like a death or, something terrible happens within the family when you're young, a divorce, some type of abuse. Yes, definitely that is stored there. But, it can be something as simplistic as you're coloring one day and daddy comes in and he's too loud, and that kind of, if you think about a record or a DVD, those of us who are old enough to remember records, when you got a skip in it, every time you played that record, it skipped, right? So this is what happens when we get trauma within our chakras, right? Every time it goes around, it has a skip. So that will keep coming up for you time after time after time, right? Like I always was worried about getting into trouble, right? Like that has been like this theme of mine since I can't tell you how long, ever since I can remember, right? And I know this is some past life stuff. There's been several lifetimes where I've been burned at the stake for what I do, right? So not only did I have past life coming back, but I had a couple of experiences with my mother and one of her husbands, and it was kind of abusive. And so that kind of really started me too, like where the fear really started to turn, like getting into trouble or causing, doing anything that would cause, you know, upheaval or I would get in trouble for. So, that is a fear, right? So fear lives in our root chakra. That's that bottom, that base chakra. And if we think about the root, like that's, if you think about sending your roots down into the earth every day, that's a good way to ground. But those are our legs, those are our pillars, right? Like if those aren't secure, we can't get the rest of the chakras to align. And we want to go in and align those chakras so that we're flowing. So in thought and in theory, if we're healed and those are open, and like healing happens all the time and on different levels. And then we have the crown at the top, which is actually an opening. So if we're healthy and those chakras are flowing, they should be like a fountain. It should be coming up from the root and all the way up and out the crown so that it's flowing. And so this is what we, are striving for, and it helps us to tune into higher self. So, there's also some physicality, like I'm talking about the spiritual aspect of the energetics that go with that, but we also, are aligned in bundles of nerves that actually come into these chakra systems as well. So the energetic body as well as the physical body. The chakras, these energetic centers, there we go, are, anywhere that we, if you think about the medical staff,
Yeah.
it has the two snakes coming up, right? Anywhere that those snakes cross, that's a chakra. That's an energetic system. And so it plays together, like our physical body, getting our physical bodies healthy, as well as getting those chakras for our emotional and our physical well-being.
I love how those are all aligned. I like that's it. It's like this beautiful template. I call it like a template to use for anything. Like when you understand the chakras, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So you work with all of the chakras. Today you're going to share a little bit about how you would use the sacral chakra, like target the sacral chakra. It's one of my favorites. Creativity,
Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those things. So yeah, I'm going to talk briefly about that. All right. So let's talk about where that's located. So that's located between the pubis or the belly button and the top of the pubis. So that space right in there. The color is orange there. Each chakra is associated with a color. So if we're working on a chakra trying to heal it, you can kind of look into that and study like, what color should I be wearing? What stone should I be wearing? All those are energetic, right? Each color carries a frequency. If you look in your closet, you're going to probably have a majority of one color that you wear. I love purple. So that's a third eye color. And if I'm going to be speaking a lot of times I'll pick out a blue color because that's your throat chakra. And, without even knowing, or thinking, about that's why I'm choosing that color. So color is another whole talk we could have, but let's get back to talking about this Svadhisthana, sacral chakra. So we've already talked about, like, this one is all about flow. This one's about creativity, moving through the body. It's motivated by pleasure. And as humans, we gravitate towards pain, right? We don't know how to really celebrate and embrace pleasure. Like, pleasure can be as simplistic as, having a great meal. It doesn't specifically have to, mean intimacy in that way. It can mean lots of other things of how we, experience pleasure as humans. So when that chakra is blocked, we don't, always experience pleasure or allow ourselves, to do that. And the awareness here is really to establish yourself and to realize that you deserve to be established. You deserve to exist. Our first chakra, because I'm talking a little bit about both today, that root chakra, that's all about survival, right? But when we get into the second chakra, it's about not just existing or survival, it's about thriving. We want to thrive here.
Yeah.
Because also this sacral chakra is connected to the throat chakra, because we can't get our creativity out, right? We can be creative and as open as we want, but if that throat chakra is closed, we can't get that up and out. So a lot of times when I work with people that are closed in that throat chakra, it's, they've all this creativity and all this great stuff, but they're like, I don't feel it anymore, or I can't get it out. It's because we're, the throat chakra is closed. So they also work all in unison with each other. So key characteristics around the sacral chakra are your sensuality, your sexuality, giving and receiving pleasure. We've already kind of talked about that. Your creativity and your unstructured expression. So I've already been talking a little bit about, the connection between those two, of how important it is to be able to express your creativity, however, that aligns for you. Birthing environments, things that wax and wane. This is why in the symbol of this, there is a Sanskrit symbol for each one of these. You'll see this is the crown behind me. But it's the shape of the crescent moon within that one. And so we think about waxing and waning here. So when the moon is coming in the day before full, we call that a waxing moon, and then it's full and then it's waning. So if we think about, flow, and within my course that I call Rockin' the Chakras, it's about soothing that and about rocking that. So this is a really great example about, coming in to balance in this space, because if we think about this second chakra as a bowl and it's full of water, and your root chakra are the legs of it, right? It holds it up. If you don't have clear and concise boundaries, or you have some stuff going on in this sacral chakra, that water leaks out, if you think about water, or it splashes out. So it's really important that we fill that cup. I know that's kind of a cliche saying that we hear.
That visual. That's so great. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You got to fill your own cup, but this is really important. And so healthy emotions are here. A lot of stuff goes on with inner child here. The divine feminine, synchronicity, like trusting the synchronicities in our life, people that come into our lives and out of our lives. So this is also this chakra about scarcity, or there's not enough, right? So if we're going through life thinking, oh my gosh, there's not enough, like what are you doing there? You're holding on to everything with dear life. And when you're doing that, you're not open to be able to receive, what needs to come in. So just remember that. Like, a lot of times I'll remind myself, if my fists are clenched, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in scarcity mode, just like release, let it flow and surrender. Not everything is running out. The next thing I want to talk about, this one's huge. This is a huge drama in that chakra, is codependency, right? So codependency is here in droves, right? It's you believe in codependency, that someone can't love me unless they need me, right? So if we have that within that sacral chakra, all of our relationships are affected by this codependency. And it becomes very, unhealthy, and you start to blame yourself, like, especially in family situations, like, the pain around everybody else's pain, and that I'm the source of that, and so that codependency in that one is a really big one. And codependency can look like, not being able to be single, the liking or dating bad boys or bad girls, anything that takes you away from looking at your own stuff within this chakra. it can look like love and sex addictions. So this is a big, huge space, because this is a lot. This chakra is a lot around like feelings and being able to acknowledge and to feel pleasure. And so a lot of addictions, we get started, we're numbing that space, right? So we also will see addiction, love and sex addiction a lot within this chakra. And, really wanting to not believe that you're important or your needs getting met are important. So, we really, and none of these supports the establishing of, thriving. So, through the work that I do there, we go through in a meditation, and we go in and we look, and there's some things that I walk you through first, so we can kind of look, at where you started to link up blame and shame, because shame also lives here. That's hand in hand, right? So we go in, we look at it, we help to heal it, maybe give it a different meaning. And really, if we think about what trauma is, when trauma is formed, especially in childhood, something happens, right? And our little child brains, unless we have an adult who is centered and balanced and can say, okay, this is why this happened, we as a child link up to that trauma and in an explanation that, that we come to as a child. So that is still in that chakra. And so until we are able to go in and look at that and heal that in a way and look at it from a different standpoint, it exists in there. So like for me, I was talking about fear in my root chakra, right? I constantly would not do things because I was afraid.
Yeah.
And so when I went in and I started to heal that, I could then move forward and do things from, self-esteem, which is your solar plexus in the tummy there, instead of coming from a fear base, and having boundaries in that second chakra, the Svadhisthana, this one we're talking about today. Boundaries, you got to have boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries, that's another way for that water to leak out of that bowl in that second chakra. So boundaries is another one that we really look at, and how to form boundaries. And, boundaries are really just like what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And if, and then what are the consequences? It's like disciplining a child. If you say, don't do this, if you do this, I'm going to take your laptop or whatever away, right? And they do it and you don't take the laptop away, then guess what? They're going to know that they can just continually keep doing what they're going to do, because you're not going to follow through with what your boundary was. So boundaries are super important in this one too. So I always stress, start having some boundaries, start saying no. We say yes so many times when we don't want to say yes, and then we become resentful and we're tired, right? So a lot on boundaries in this chakra too.
I've never put that together, and it's how you had said how the sacral and the throat are kind of connected. And that makes so much sense, because then to express yourself. I love that you said that. I keep thinking of all the things you're saying, and how in each of those, that's how we have to express ourselves. We have to say yes or no. We have, it's, and I just have never put that together. I love that so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it when you get it, because I can remember when my kids were little, it was usually the same parents doing parent teacher, association or 4-H leaders or, whatever that was. And I was always saying yes. And I was like, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to be president of the PTA, but nobody else will do it. So I'll step up and do it. But when I learned, I don't have to do that, it was so freeing, because it made my yeses mean more. When I was saying, no, I don't want to do that. When I said yes, I was excited about it. And it was really passionate about what I wanted to do, because I had set those boundaries and realized how much powerful my yeses could be if my no's got acknowledged,
And you're in that space, you're in that creative, you're excited about doing things, so you do even better. You're even a better contributor to whatever you're doing if you're in that space to begin with. So choose the things you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that's just one chakra. So there's so much that you can do with each of them. It's so beautiful. Gosh, Casey, I hope you come back and and share more. See, I want to know so much about, I have so many questions about your story and how you became a medium. It's so cool.
Thank you.
Oh, let me mention you do have a course right now. Can you tell us a little bit about Rockin' the Chakras?
Yes, so Rockin' the Chakras is a 6-week course. It is recorded now, so you're able, there's 2 components to it. The first one is lecture. So what I kind of talked about today with that Svadhisthana or that second chakra, you'll get that in entirety, the lecture on it. And then the second component was a component I did that was alive, but that's also recorded now. So you can go in and we do some actual exercises and breath work and a lot of things I didn't get to touch on as we talked today. And it helps to heal those spaces. And I give you tools to help work on those. And and then there's a little Q&A if anyone had any questions and answers. I can still be, if you decide that you want to go in and take the course, it's on my website, omgurlcasey.com/happenings. You can find it there. You can go in, it's a YouTube link. So you just go in, you pay for the course, and then you have the links and you can kind of go at your own pace. There's a lot of information and a lot of healing I even found, inside myself while I was doing, this course to help others. Like the second chakra that we're talking about today, that took me days and hours of like, I wanted to cry, I wanted to go shopping, I wanted to do anything but have to sit and look, because I do tell, a lot of my own experiences and stories within this course. For instance, I told a story around boundaries with my son in this one. So, it's just very healing to know that you're not in this alone, and that a lot of women go through this, or a lot of, people, I say that it's not just for women, men can also, get a lot from these lectures. And just to know that we're all in this together. And when healing happens, it happens not just for yourself, but it happens for everyone that's around you, everything that you touch, energetically wise too. We're healing on this bigger playing field, if you will, when we touch in and heal ourselves.
I love that you said that. I brought that up. It's so important in healing, like the past and the present and the future and your ancestors, everything. So beautiful.
And all of my socials are Omgurl Casey. That's OMGURL Casey, CASEY. So I'm on TikTok and Insta and Facebook, and I do teach other courses. I do some free stuff as well. So yeah, check me out.
Oh, I'm so excited to get to meet you. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you can do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate you.